hold on a second. Right. So basically, it's a very simple question, right? When you're trying to find profit or loss, you will look at revenue and also the cost, right? Yeah. And here, you are given average revenue and also average cost. So if you using the revenue minus the cost, then you will get the average profit. And if you use the average profit multiplied by the quantity, then you will get the total profit, right? So yeah, so that's correct. Okay, what about question B? Okay, using the data above, yeah. So why the monopolist is not productively efficient? So this one could be a little bit more tricky. So anyone who can answer this question? So why? So why, when we are looking at the data here, we know that the monopolist is not productively efficient? Okay, right. Yeah. So yeah, if I combine both of your answers, then that will be perfect. Yes. Yeah. That's very good. That's very good. Yeah, because yeah, that's very good. When we look at the data, we know that well, and based on the theory, we know when we talk about productive efficiency, it means it's going to be the minimum average cost. Yeah, we're at the minimum average cost level, right? And how do we see that level? It is basically the intersection between the MC and ATC. But when you're looking at the data right here, you can see right now, okay, we are producing at MC with $30 and also ATC with $60. So we are not in the intersection point. Okay, and the ATC and the MC is lower than the ATC. So if we keep producing more units, the ATC, okay, yeah, should be keep decreasing. So we still have a room for producing more units when we look at this, yeah, before we get to the minimum average cost level, right? Okay, so yeah, so you guys are basically correct. Okay, yeah, right. So you just have to look at these two numbers here, yeah, to see if you are yeah, MC and also ATC, to see if you are at the minimum average cost level. Okay, right. Yeah, right. So if we keep producing, I'm pretty sure the average cost is going to reduce and the MC is going to increase until they are the same. Okay. Yeah, maybe let's have a wild guess. Yeah, maybe you will get productive efficiency at 45 or something, right? Okay, right. Something like that. Okay. Yeah. So what about question C? So using the data, explain why the profit maximizing monopolies will increase its output in the long run. So yeah, MC is equal to MR, right? Okay, yeah. So that's very good. That's very good. And when we look at this, MC MR, yeah, right. MR is higher than MC. Okay, so it means we can still produce more, right? Because right now the AMR is still higher than MC. Okay, so it's worth to produce an additional unit, right? But we don't know after we have produced the additional unit what will happen to both of the numbers. But we know that it should be better if we produce an additional unit based on the data given. Okay, yeah. So you guys are correct. Yeah, so that's good. So until the two numbers are the same. Okay, that's where you get profit maximization, right? Yeah. So that's question C. That's very good. What about question 2? Identify the area of consumer surplus in a competitive market. So yeah, quickly, if you are in a competitive market, where is the consumer surplus? Okay, right, that's good. ABC. ABC. Okay, right? Yeah, easy. Right, let's go to question B. So what about producer surplus? Yeah, DE, right? Yeah, just the rest of the area. Okay, this triangle here, yeah, right triangle here, that is CS, and here that's PS. Easy. What about question C? So if the quantity, okay, we are selling at Q2, okay, where is the new consumer surplus? So yeah, very good. So the new consumer surplus will become A, right? If we are selling at the quantity of Q2, yeah, because when you look at this at Q2, okay, we are selling it at P2, right? So the consumer surplus will be this triangle here, okay? And then the producer surplus will be B and D. Okay, will be B and D. All right. So there will be, you see this one here, C and E. We know C and E. What is C and E together? What is this part here? If we are selling it at Q2. Yeah, that way loss, right? Yep. So yeah, C and E will be the that way loss, and yeah, and that is basically the answer of D. Okay, so D asking that way loss, then it will be a C and E. Okay, right? Is there any questions for this page? No. Okay, yeah. All right, so let's go to the next page. Okay, right. So now we are at question 3. All right. So question A, which one is the price charged by a profit maximizing monopolist? A, B, or E in this diagram here? A, right? That's correct, because when you look at the profit maximization, MC is equal to AMR. This point, yeah, which is this point right here, F. F. So F, that is, you should have your output at G. Yeah, if you're producing your output at G, then if yeah, just draw a line upwards, then you will see you are going to sell it at A right here. Okay, yeah, so that's good, very good. What about B? Determine the total cost if you are using profit maximization. So which area is the total cost? OBDG, or 0D BDG. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's correct, right? Yeah, because when you are having your profit maximization output, then your average cost is going to be at D. Okay? And once again, that is your average total cost. If you're using your average total cost multiplied by the output that you are going to have, then you will have the total cost, and which is the area of 0BDG. Okay, right? So this area here, that's your total cost, right? So that's very good. What about C? Question C. Derive from the diagram the amount of profit earned by this monopolist. So where's the area of the profit? A, B, C, D. Yeah. So right, because now we know this area here. This is your total cost, right? And that's why, if you look at it above, okay. So at point C, this is your average revenue. And once again, using the same concept, using the average revenue multiplied by the output, then you will get your total revenue, and which is this area right here. Okay, if you use the total revenue minus the total cost, then you will see an extra area remained, and which is A, B, C, D. Okay, right? Yeah. So B easy. I'm sorry. C easy. What about D? can you explain if we are trying to use revenue maximization, where should be the output? Where should be the output if we are using revenue? Okay, when MR is equal to 0, that's good. Yep. So when MR is equal to 0, which is output H. Yeah, right. So that's good. So we are going to have the output of H if we are trying to make revenue maximization. Okay. Yeah. So your price is going to be somewhere, yeah, here. Okay. Yeah, it's like between A and B. Yeah, the price is going to be between A and B. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's D. And what about question E? So explain. Okay, why the profit maximizing monopolies is allocative inefficient? Why is that? Can you quickly explain it? Yeah, this one could be a little bit more complicated. So how do you explain it? Cheryl, yeah, that's very good. Yeah, that's very good for the opening of this answer, right? Because if you are a monopolist, you are not going to produce at MC is equal to MB because you are looking for profits, right? So this is the first thing that you are going to write in your answer, okay? And so that's why you are going to look at profit maximization, and that is when MC is equal to MR. Okay, yeah, and if you are using MC is equal to MR, then you will see if we are using this output, okay, your MB will be always higher than your MC. Okay, if you're using profit maximization output, okay, so this is how you answer the question perfectly. Okay, so first of all, you tell the examiner, look, the monopolist is not going to produce the output where MC is equal to MB or MC is equal to P or MC is equal to D, yeah, whatever that is, yeah, as long as you're talking about this point here. Okay, so that's the first thing that you should talk about, and then the second thing, then you will talk about, yeah, they are going to maximize their profit at this output, and when we are having this output here, the price or the demand or the MB is always higher than MC. Okay, if that happens, then we know we will never reach allocative efficiency when MB is always higher than MC. Okay, all right, yeah. So this is the complete answer of this question here. All right, so yeah, so you guys have the right idea. So very good. All right, okay, yeah. So next time when you see a question like this, do answer it in in the steps that I just told you. Okay, right? Yeah, because when you look at this, right? Yeah, if you're profit maximizing your output, yeah, MB is always going to be higher than MC, right? Yeah, so this is the gap. See, at this point, MB is here and MC is here. Okay, right? So you will not get allocative efficiency, right? Okay, yeah. So that's question E. Okay, that's question E, and yeah. So let's go to number 4. So number 4, well, that is pretty simple, right? Total revenue. Okay, when you're trying to get total revenue, yeah, you just have to use Q times P, right? Yeah, that's how you get to revenue. And marginal revenue for the first one, you cannot really see that. Okay, so usually it will start from the second one when you are able to compare the two output, right? And also for the marginal cost. So here I'm just gonna show you the answer. Yeah, here. Okay, so you can quickly check the answer. Okay, so yeah, just like that, right? Q times P, then you will get total revenue, and once again, you will not find any of the marginal revenue or marginal cost for the first one, yeah, because there's nothing to compare. And yeah, when you go to the second one, yeah, when you're trying to look at marginal revenue and cost, so you just have to look at this, right? So the difference. Okay, wait. Mhm. Wait a second. Yeah, I think they are missing a zero. Yeah, don't you think? Any disagreement? Here. When you talk about marginal revenue and marginal cost, are they missing a zero? Oh, oh, okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, because I haven't looked at the question. Oh, okay. Right. So yeah, the issue of the units. Okay, right. But either way, you can look at marginal revenue or marginal cost by looking at the difference between the two numbers, or you can just use the formula or the equation, right? Where the change in total revenue over the change in quantity. Okay, yeah. So sometimes in the exam, you may be, yeah, you may have to use that equation to calculate marginal revenue or marginal cost. Okay, yeah. So just use the change in total revenue over the change in quantity, then you will get the marginal revenue for yeah, for a particular output, and also for the marginal cost as well. So you just have to find the change in total cost over the change in quantity, then you will get the marginal cost. Okay, right? Yeah, yeah, just like that. Okay, all right, yeah, okay. So that's question four. Yeah, question four here. Uh, and question B, yeah, is asking you to calculate the profit. So this one is even more simple, right? So you just have to use the numbers that you have calculated in question A, right? Yeah, you have your total revenue, you have your total cost. Okay, so you just have to, yeah, use the revenue minus the cost, then you will get profit. Okay, right? And at the same time, and which output they are going to produce. Okay, yeah, because they are profit maximizing companies. Okay, and from question A, you will see, right, from the answer, at quantity of 70, their marginal revenue is equal to the marginal cost. Okay, so yeah, pretty sure they are going to produce their products at 70 output. Okay, right. So if we know that, then we know. Yeah, and from here we can once again we can ascertain they are going to produce it at 70 units, right? Because this one will give them the highest profit, so which is profit maximization. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so 70 they are going to produce the output at 70, and these are all the profits that they can get by producing the products at different units. Okay, yeah, yeah, here. Okay, yeah, no problem. Okay. All right. So let's quickly go to question 5. Okay, question 5. Calculate the total revenue of the profit maximizing monopolist. Okay, so total revenue. What is the total revenue for this question here? Okay, so that will be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1,100,000. Uh, well, yeah, that's correct, right? Yeah. So using the 110 times the 10, well, which is a 10,000 output. Okay, and there you will get that number. Okay, using this number, 110, right, times 10. Okay, then you get that. All right, yeah. So once again, this is the area of total revenue. Yeah, here. Okay, if you're trying to profit maximizing, uh, uh, you know, your output. Okay. What about the total cost? Okay, the total cost will be using 70 multiplied by 10 or 10,000. Okay, so which will give you, right? Which will give you 700,000 dollars of cost of total cost. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, yeah, that's good, right? So it will be the area of here. That's your total cost, right? All right, let's move on to the third one. Um, so determine the abnormal profit earned by the monopolist. So how much profit, how much abnormal profit did they earn? Okay, 400,000, right? 110 minus 70, which will give you 40. Okay, 40 times 10, or 10,000, which will give you $400,000 of abnormal profit. Okay, and which is this area here. Okay, all right, yeah, yeah. So that's question C. And okay, last one. Thank God. Uh, Calculate the debt weight loss to society caused by the action. Okay, so debt weight loss in this question, calculate the area of debt weight loss. Can you show me the working as well? Okay, right. Okay, so 110 minus 50. Okay, because we know this triangle here, this triangle here will be the debt weight lost, right? Because this one here is our when we are achieving allocative efficiency, and that's why if we are not using this price of 90, and we are using a price higher than that, then you will see a dead weight loss here. This triangle here, yeah, 1 A B C. Okay, this triangle here. So yeah, you just have to calculate the area of this triangle, right? So here the base 110 minus 50, then you get 60. Okay, times the height, which is 3,000. Okay, over 2, then you will get 90,000. Okay, yeah, so that is correct. Well, 60. Yeah. So that's correct. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So very good. Okay. Yeah. So that's all for the homework. Okay, if you are missing anything, you can still go back to YouTube and yeah, watch the video. Okay, all right, yeah, yeah, all right. So that's all for the homework. Yep. So let's go back to where we were last time for Monopoly. Okay, for Monopoly last time, we were up to here. Okay, we finished talking about the advantages of monopolies. Okay, yeah, we have discussed so much uh, disadvantages of monopolies, but if we look at this optimistically, okay, if we look at monopolies optimistically, they still have some advantages. Okay, it is because the fact that they can earn so much abnormal profits, and that's why they have the potential to make something very wonderful. Like having a lot of R&D and innovation, right? Because that's what you can do when you have a lot of abnormal profits, right? Okay, so you can improve your product even further, or you can improve the efficiency even further. Okay, if you think about this optimistically, so at the end, yeah, things become more efficient, or yeah, the goods, they will become the quality will become more it's become better, and at the end, yeah, the consumers, they may get the benefits, right? Because when you have high efficiency, then yeah, usually the price will go down. Okay, and if you're able to produce more, yeah, based on the nature of your monopoly, then yeah, you will get economy of scale, and at the end, right, your costs will get lower, right? So yeah, it's so here is based on the first point right here. Okay, if you're able to have a lot of R&D and innovation, and because of that you get more efficiency, and that's why you can produce even higher output. Okay, without you know uh, 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 lowering your price, or things like that. Okay, so at the end you can still have your economies of scale. Okay, so which is good, right? So at the end, yeah, if you have both of them, R&D and also economy of scale, pretty sure, yeah, you can set a cheaper price for your consumers. Okay, and at the same time you can still earn maybe the same amount of abnormal profit, even when you set a lower price. Yeah, because you have saved so much of the costs. Okay, right? So that is very good. And at the same time, right, when you talk about natural monopolies, okay, and they are good monopolies in nature, because one monopoly is better than more than one competitors in the market, if you're talking about natural monopolies. And that's why, right, sometimes it could be better to have just one monopoly in the market, because that will be even more efficient. Okay, right? So you don't have to have any duplicated resources. Okay, or your market share will be split by different competitors, and at the end you cannot fully utilize your economies of scale, right? So yeah, and here, this is how you can argue. Okay, when you see a question asking if monopoly is always bad for the society. Okay, yeah. So after you have talked everything about how bad they are for the society, or for the economy, then you can talk about the points here. Okay, right, yeah, which will give you a very good argument. All right, yep. Okay, so yeah, that's all for the advantages of monopolies, and then we can go to some legislation, right? Yeah, because we know, yeah, I mean, most of the time, monopoly is going to be bad. Okay, so as a government, we do need to regulate those companies. Okay, and here are just some examples for you, right? Like how usually governments, they are going to regulate, the government. I mean, that was stupid. Yeah, how the government is going to regulate those monopolies. Okay, right? Yeah. So some legislation. So here you can just just have a very brief understanding on how government, they control the monopolies. So usually you will see some legislation to reduce monopoly. Okay, so they will control the market. saying, yeah, you know, in this market, you are not allowed to sell your product alone. Okay, there should be more competition, right? Uh, yeah. So you know, these two are pretty much the same. Yeah, they're quite similar. Okay, legislation to reduce a monopoly or legislation to promote competition. They are pretty much the same. Okay, yeah, they are both saying, okay, in this market we need more competition. Yeah, or we don't allow you to sell your products in this market alone. Okay, right? So yeah. So these are the two legislations that we'll see very common in the society. But of course, when you look at those legislation, they do have their disadvantages, right? You know, yeah. When you think about the disadvantages, how do you determine if someone is being a monopoly, right? How do you determine if there is a lack of competition? Yeah, this is one very vague concept, and that's why when you look at you know some of the examples that we did in this chapter, talking about you know those medicines, okay, yeah, I mean apparently some of those companies, they are very obviously they are like pure monopoly. Okay. Yeah. When you see you know the price spike that they have, and then you know there's not much things that you can do in the market because they are the pure monopoly. But you know at the end of the day, they're still in the market, and even though we know there are some legislations controlling you know the monopoly, it's not really working. They are still here selling very expensive drugs, okay, the life-saving drugs that you know people deserve, and they're still making a lot of profits. Yeah, so you know here, yeah, maybe there may be some arguments about you know the effectiveness of the legislation. Like how do you define monopoly? How do you define right competition? Is yeah, once again, is a very vague concept, and yeah, and that makes it very difficult to control the monopolies sometimes. Okay, right? Yeah. And also, wait, yeah, we can also control, you know, the mergers. Yeah, you guys still remember what the mergers are? What are they? Hello. Yeah, two or more firms merging together, right? Yeah. Do you still remember how many types of mergers that we have? Three types, and what are they? A vertical, horizontal, yeah, conglomerate. Yeah, right. Yeah. So you know these are the types of mergers, and sometimes in some countries you will see some legislation controlling, you know, mergers. Like yeah, like you know, if you are intentionally merging your business with some other businesses, trying to get more market power or you know monopoly power, then you know you will be regulated. But once again, how do you define it? Yeah. So you know what should be defined as intentionally, you know, monopolize the market by merging different businesses is very difficult. So even to the government is very difficult to control such activity, right? Yeah, when you think about this, yeah, you know, when you are making up the laws, and when you think about it, it's just too difficult. Like, how do you, you know, make all the laws very rigidly, right? Just to protect the market, right? By the abusing monopolies is kind of difficult. Okay. So you know, yeah, you can see some difficulties over this topic here. And at the end, yeah, you know, we talk about this already, so I'm not going to further discuss this, right? So you know when we talk about how to regulate natural monopolies. Usually, we'll just force them to sell their products at either one of the pricings. Okay. Yeah, either they should be selling at the marginal cost pricing. Yeah, but we force them to sell at marginal cost pricing. They may actually leave the market because when you think about the diagram that we did for a natural monopoly, if we force them to achieve allocative efficiency, most of the time they will get a loss, right? So if you get a loss, then obviously you are going to leave the market, right? What's the point of staying in the market when you cannot earn any profit? Okay, so sometimes the government may regulate the companies. Yeah, maybe you should be selling at the average cost pricing instead. Okay, yeah, even though you cannot achieve allocative efficiency if you're using average cost pricing, but at least the price will be much better for the society. Yeah, because when you go back to your diagram, the price will be much lower than when you are selling it at profit maximization. Okay, so yeah, these are the two methods that a government can also use to control, something like a natural monopoly. Okay, yeah. So yeah. So yeah, if you forget that part, so you can always go back to the natural monopoly diagram and study that. Okay, right. So yeah. So basically, that's all for monopoly. Okay, monopoly. And so when you look at this, okay, every time at the end of each market structure, you'll be asked to compare different market structures. Okay, and this is also happening in your exam too, right? So sometimes some questions they will ask you to compare different market structures based on some particular topics, like the price, output, right? Yeah, those things. Okay, so here very quickly, if you have to compare, okay, if you have to compare monopoly to perfect competition based on the four factors here, okay, what can you tell me about it? Yeah, so when you talk about price and output, what are the difference? What are the differences? Yeah, when you compare monopoly and perfect competition. So in general, what can you tell us? So perfect competition and monopoly, when you talk about price and output, what can you see for the differences? Yeah. So Kirsty, well, yeah, that's true, right? One is a price setter and one is a price taker, and because of that, usually, okay, for perfect competition, they will be having a lower price and higher output. Okay, yeah, because at the end of the day, if you are perfect competition, you are going to sell your products at at allocative efficiency. Okay, but for monopoly, they are going to control their price, right? Because they have the market power. They have the market power to control the price, so they can set the price at a very high level, and they can control the output. Yeah, because when they restrict the output, that is when they can set up a higher price, right? So this is the difference between perfect competition and monopoly. Okay, so for perfect competition, they are always going to have the output of allocated efficiency. But for monopoly, they are always going to control the price and output so that they can earn more profit. Okay, so yeah, so that's the first point. Yeah, but what about efficiency? Is there any difference in terms of efficiency between the two? Okay, perfect competition, higher efficiency. Okay, yeah, yeah. Uh, uh, Talia. Okay, right. Okay, yeah, right. So perfect competition. If you think about this in the long run, yeah, for both of the market structures in the long run, perfect competition at the end, it will achieve both allocative efficiency and productive efficiency, right? Okay. And yeah, and Michelle, right? At the end, right, right. And Monopoly is just the opposite. You will not be able to achieve both allocative and productive efficiency. Okay, and also you will not be able to achieve X efficiency neither. Okay, or you can implicitly think about this. So for perfect competition, they will be able to achieve X efficiency because the market is so competitive. So you cannot make any waste, right? When you see something that you have to improve, then you would do it. When you see people they're not motivated, then you are going to do something about it. When you see somewhere there are some redundant resources, then you are going to cut them off, right? So in the perfect competition, then I would say yeah, even we didn't talk about this, but I would say in the perfect competition you will see X efficiency. Yeah, very possibly. Okay, right. So in summary, perfect competition you can see all kinds of efficiencies, but in monopolies, no, nothing. Okay, nothing is very inefficient in monopoly. Okay, you will not see any efficiency in monopoly. Okay, right? Yeah, so that's good. What about question? What about R&D? Do you see any difference? Yep, yep, right. Yeah. So here, very straightforward question. R&D for perfect competition, there will be no R&D because it's so difficult to survive already. The competition is so great, and they cannot control the price. Right? They're selling the same goods and services, and that's why they don't have the extra profit for more development. Right? More R&D, more innovation. No. Okay. So at the end, perfect competition, no R&D. So they will not be able to maintain the market power. But, well, even though they don't have any market power, but for monopoly is totally different because they can earn economic profits in the short run and in the long run. Yeah, in the long run, and that's why they have so much more money for R&D. To keep the market power and also to keep the barriers to entry, right? Yeah. So yeah, you can see some difference between perfect competition and monopoly in terms of R&D, right? And at the same time, when you talk about economies of scale, it's the same. Okay, it's the same, right? Perfect competition, there's no economies of scale, right? Because we know that in a very competitive market, when you have so many competitors, okay, you are not able to produce a lot of output, okay? Because even when you produce a lot of output, no one is going to buy like all of your output because there are so many competitors and they are all sharing, uh, the market share inside that market, okay, right? Yeah, but monopoly is not the same. Okay, because monopoly, even if you are not a pure monopoly, let's say you are only controlling 80% of the market share in the market, you are still able to produce a huge output, right? And at the end, because of that fact, you are able to enjoy much more economies of scale than perfect competition. Okay, right? So yeah, so sometimes yeah, you can just use these points right here to make arguments, right? When you're comparing monopoly and perfect competition. Okay, all right? Yep. So yeah. that's all for Monopoly. Okay, that's all for Monopoly. Okay, yeah. So I don't think we can do this debate here. So too bad. Yeah. Uh, well, yeah, too bad. So yeah, if you are interested of looking at some sample questions, yeah, you can go to this page here, right? So I have two questions. So feel free to you know take a look of them and take reference. Okay, yeah, the answers are here. Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is Monopoly. Okay. So this is Monopoly. All right. Yeah. So two more to go. Yeah. So we still have like 10 minutes. Okay. So now let's start the intro of the next one. Okay. So the next one here. Right. Okay. So now the next one here, we are going to talk about monopolistic competition. When you look at the name, what do you think? When you look just by looking at the name, what do you think the characteristic of this market structure here? What is going to be your expectation when you see the name here? Monopolistic competition. Any ideas? Just by looking at the name? With no ideas? Oh, come on. Similar to Monopoly, but less market power. Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, right? So you are going to expect there will be a little bit of like a monopoly vibe, uh, but yeah, with less market power. Okay, yeah, but also when you look at the second part of the name, then you will see something related to a perfect competition as well. Okay, so take a look at this. So now we are at here. Okay, so once again, the spectrum, right? So now we have learned the two extremes. Okay, perfect competition and monopoly, right? Yeah, and now we are going to learn something quite close to perfect competition. Okay, so that is monopolistic competition right here. Okay, yeah. So there'll be a lot of competition in here, but at the same time, you are going to have a little bit of market control. Okay, yeah. Right, in this market structure. So, first of all, do you recognize them? Anyone can tell me, yeah, who are they? Come on. Yeah, on the left hand side, anyone who can tell me. Okay, BTS and Blackpink, right? Yeah, simple question. And they are, you know, one of those K-pops. Yeah. Uh, no, that's not a simple question. Yeah. Well, I thought I was having a generation gap, but apparently I'm not. Yeah. Yeah. It's just some sort of K-pop, and look, K-pop is basically a monopolistic competition. Okay, right? When you think about K-pop, okay, I'm not so sure. Well, if I say this, I'm going to offend so many K-pop fans, right? Because I cannot really see the difference, you know, from different groups, okay? Because they kind of look like the same to me. Yeah, this is where I'll get beat up. Yeah, but of course they are different. Yeah, of course they are different, right? Different groups, they have different features, they have different, styles and stuff. But you have so many K-pop groups in Korea, right? Yeah. I haven't looked into like exactly how many numbers of K-pop groups that we have in Korea, but I'm pretty sure they have a lot. Okay, yeah, and this is exactly the structure of monopolistic competition. Okay, so look at this. So in monopolistic competition, we have those assumptions. There will be a lot of firms in monopolistic competition. Yep. So you are going to expect a large number of firms, just like where you are in perfect competition. Okay. Yep. So yeah. So now you see some characteristics in perfect competition right here. Yeah. And also one more thing, we assume there's no barriers of entry and exit. Okay. Or just a little bit. Okay, or just a little bit. So you can realize like why there might be a little bit of barriers of entry, right? Or exit in this market. Okay, right. Uh, what do you think? Why sometimes there might be some barriers to entry and exit in this market, even though there are so many firms in the market? Any thoughts? Yeah, even though so many, there are so many firms in this market, but still, there may be a little bit of barriers to entry and exit. Thinking the thing about the K-pop example. Anyone? Oh, I don't think the mic is working.